Hey, what's up YouTube? In today's video, we're going to take a look at how to downgrade and or upgrade to iOS 11.1.2 in anticipation to jailbreak your device now that Ian Beer's kernel level exploit has been released for iOS 11.1.2. Now, I will be releasing a jailbreak update video very soon to let you guys know and give you more information on whether you should upgrade or downgrade to iOS 11.1.2, but for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to go through the steps necessary to upgrade or downgrade your device. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into things. This won't be too long of a video as this is not too hard of a process to do, whether you are upgrading or downgrading. And essentially, you want to do this process as soon as possible if you plan to, because we don't know how long Apple is going to be signing iOS 11.1.2 now that 11.2 has been out for roughly a week or so. Anyway, to start off, you're going to go ahead and plug your device into your computer. You're going to go ahead and trust the connection. If you have to enter your passcode on your device to do this, go ahead and enter your passcode and make sure that your iPhone appears in iTunes just like it does on my screen now. So before we begin with the restore, there's only one file that you're going to need, and that is the iOS 11.1.2 IPSW file for your specific iOS device. Now in this example here, I'm using my iPhone 6s Plus, so I'm going to go ahead and navigate to ipsw.me, navigate to iPhones, and then select my iPhone 6s Plus, and then select the firmware iOS 11.1.2 and click download. Now for this video, I went ahead and pre-downloaded this IPSW file, so I have it here right here on my desktop ready to go. So now that we have the IPSW file downloaded, again, this is for your specific device that you have that you're trying to install iOS 11.1.2 on. Now we can go ahead and restore. So really, if you're coming from any iOS version, you have two options here. You can do a complete restore, which essentially wipes everything off of the device and sets it up brand new as if you just received your iPhone. Or you can do an upgrade on your device, which will essentially upgrade or downgrade your device to iOS 11.1.2, but it will keep all your data and all of your apps currently on your phone. Now, in my personal opinion, if you're going to install iOS 11.1.2 in anticipation of jailbreaking it, I always suggest to do a complete restore on your device just so you have a fresh copy of iOS 11 running, because undoubtedly you're going to be staying on this firmware for a very long time if a jailbreak does come out and you jailbreak your device. You're not going to be updating or refreshing. We don't know if City Eraser is going to work for iOS 11 anytime soon. So long story short, you're going to be staying on it for a long time, so that's why I suggest just to have the freshest copy of iOS 11 possible and to know that it installed and is working correctly. But for all those users that want to keep their data and not entirely reset up their device, the first thing you're going to want to do before you begin this process in this video is create a backup of your device. And I personally like to create a backup on my home computer, not using iCloud, as it will take a lot less time to do this than backing it up to the cloud. This way, if you're coming from any version of iOS 9 or 10, you can go ahead and update to iOS 11.1.2 and then restore from your backup. Now, the only case this won't work is if you are on the newest firmware, iOS 11.2. If you completely restore your device down to iOS 11.1.2 and then try to restore from an iOS 11.2 backup, iTunes will not allow this. It will say the backup that was created on iOS 11.2 is too new to restore to iOS 11.1.2. So if you want to save your data coming from iOS 11.2 down to iOS 11.1.2, you have to go through a slightly different restore process. The only modification is within iTunes. Instead of clicking the restore button, you're going to Alt or Shift on Windows, click the check for update button. This will pull up this dialog box, which you can then go ahead and select the iOS 11.1.2 IPSW. Once you select that and hit open, it will begin the downgrade process back to iOS 11.2, but like I said, using this method, it will keep all of your data. Also, if you're coming from any version of iOS 9 or 10 and are upgrading to iOS 11.1.2 and want to keep your data, this is the same method that you will do. You will go into iTunes and Shift or Alt-click the check for update button, select your iOS 11.1.2 IPSW file, and click open, and the upgrade process will begin. So if you guys haven't already noticed, for this first example, I'm downgrading from iOS 11.2 to iOS 11.1.2, and I'm going to keep my data. Now, I'm performing this example just so everyone knows that this option is available. At the very end of this video, I will be doing a complete restore to iOS 11.1.2, completely wiping the device, just so I have a fresh copy of iOS 11.1.2 set up on my device if a jailbreak comes out in the near future. Anyway, to finish up this example, if you guys wanted to keep your data, as you can see, my device has successfully been downgraded from iOS 11.2 to iOS 11.1.2, and all my apps have remained installed. Now, the only reason why I don't suggest doing this is because sometimes this downgrade process, coming from a higher firmware down to a lower one, can sometimes have errors and make your device very laggy. So to avoid all that mess, I personally just like to restore my phone to a fresh copy, erasing my entire device. And to do this time we're going to Alt or Option click the restore button this time. Again, it's Shift click on Windows. This time we're hitting the restore button and it will do a complete and fresh restore to iOS 11.1.2. In this case, however, since we're doing a full restore and not just an upgrade, you may have to turn Find My iPhone off if it is currently enabled on your device. So in order to turn Find My iPhone off, you're going to open up the Settings app, navigate to your iCloud settings, and then scroll down and select Find My iPhone. Here you can toggle this setting on and off, and when you toggle it off, all you have to do is enter your passcode to confirm. Again, now that Find My iPhone is turned off, you will be able to Alt-click the Restore button, select the IPSW file, and begin the restore process. Anyway, once the device restores to iOS 11.1.2, this time I'm going to set it up as a new device and go ahead and re-input my iCloud and install all my apps manually again. Now, if you came from iOS 9 or 10, you do have the option to restore from a backup, but as the same thing goes from downgrading from 11.2 to 11.1.2, I personally just like to set it up as a new device, just so the firmware is as fresh as it can possibly be if I'm going to jailbreak it in the future. So even if you restore from a backup, this can sometimes slow down your device, and I just don't want to deal with any of that mess. So in this case, I'm just going to set it up as a new device. Anyway, I hope this video today was helpful. That really shows you the two ways if you want to update or if you want to restore the iPhone back to its factory settings and ultimately end up on iOS 11.1.2. Like I said, in any case, if you're coming from 11.2 or iOS 9 or iOS 10, you pretty much have the same options if you want to update and keep your data, or if you want to restore and set it up as a new device. Again, my personal preference, as you've heard multiple times in this video, is to do a fresh restore just to ensure that you don't encounter any post-install problems with speed or performance on the device. Anyway, like I said, guys, I am working on a jailbreak update to give you guys a little bit more information of why you may want to upgrade or downgrade to iOS 11.1.2. But since we really don't know how long Apple is going to remain signing iOS 11.1.2, I wanted to get this video out here first so you guys know how to upgrade or downgrade to iOS 11.1.2 while it's still being signed. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching again. Before you head out, don't forget to follow me on my social media pages, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel to be notified on when I release future videos just like this one. Anyway, guys, stay tuned as there has been some major jailbreak updates that have happened in the past couple of days, most notably being the iOS 11.1.2 kernel exploit released by Ian Beer, who is, of course, a part of Project Zero, and I will get into this in much more detail in my jailbreak update video, so look out for that, as I'll be posting that either later today or early tomorrow morning. Anyway, guys, until next time, this is Tony, signing out.